Probably one of the oldest military hospitals surviving in place.
Okay.
It's being renovated at the moment. It was used for everything you imagine it would be. So it would be used for injured soldiers, but it would also be used as quarantine for soldiers coming in that had a disease. They'd be put in there and shut away, and then babies as well.
Okay.
Because some of the soldiers were allowed to bring their wives.
Okay.
And so we had babies. So you could hoist a flag, doctor would come, baby born, and then we'd all get on with it.
All right, okay.
Because the doctors in there weren't very good at, maternity stuff. So this is a bit younger, but essentially it's sort of 3 or 4 different rocks that have all been joined together with these lovely curtain walls, all made of local granite. Local granite or granite from Chaucy, which is, used to be one of our islands. And here we have a battery. Bastion. Well, it's bastion. Again, every hole. If it's a big hole, it's a gun.
Okay.
If it's a small hole, it's a musket.
Okay. Yeah.
And the muskets were done on an angle so you couldn't fire straight back and hit someone.
Ah.
So you're actually covering the whole of the curtain wall there.
All right.
It's fantastic. If you're into guns. Now I've said every hole was used for weapons, perhaps except for ones like this one. Okay.
Yeah.
This one, can you imagine what that's for?
No.
Soldiers here 24/7.
Oh. Okay.
About the right height.
All right. Okay.
I suspect here perhaps the other sort of thing as well.
Okay.
This is like a pepper pot, similar to the one you see here.
Yeah.
It hangs over the edge. They've actually sealed up the hole.
Oh, right.
here,
Okay.
So it's not a lookout really. Now.
Yeah.
But here we have scrapes. This is where they used to sharpen their knives
Oh,
and the
okay.
bayonets.
Okay, yeah.
When they were bored.
Yeah.
Give it a bit of a sharpening. We're going to head into the castle property now. It's a massive site.
It is, yeah. That's why I thought, I don't want to get lost.
We've got lovely rosemary here.
Yeah.
And that one's for what we call green. So now you can see a bit of everything. That's the most recent, so that's German bunker. And then you've got the oldest, which is the Tudor tower at the top. So as I say, dissolution of the monasteries. Where can we build it? There's a big abbey down there. Let's fortify that. Don't need the abbey anymore. Let's put a castle there. So that's what they did. And this green was actually the old barracks. So you'd have had barrack buildings all around. We had a windmill, which also had a gun in it.
All right,
it's quite unusual. But it wasn't destroyed or anything. It was just dismantled.
Okay.
And we built a much nicer, during the Georgian period, a much nicer set of barracks. But whilst we're here, if you notice that flag is similar to this one.
Yes.
And it's missing something.
Okay.
It's actually missing the cross of St. Patrick,
Okay.
which normally runs in a red cross in the white area. That shows you that flag and this one here is prior to 1801.
All right.
That's when we had the union with Ireland.
Okay.
And this one, in fact, is illustrating the Battle of Jersey. You can have one of these books free.
Yes.
We found hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And Battle of Jersey, 1781.
Okay.
And it was the last battle fought and won on British soil by the British. It was against the French. And here we have unusually a black man fighting on the British side. He's wearing like a gunner's jacket there, but he's actually firing a musket by the look of it. Musket firers wear red and gunners wear blue.
Blue. All right. Okay.
So a little bit about the story of the Battle of Jersey. The French arrived on the east coast. Baron de Rulcourt, there he is. He's mortally wounded there. And this is in the Royal Square in town.
Yes, yeah.
So you can see the gold statue of George.
Yes, yeah.
So that's a nice picture there. This is by Copley. It's representative. It's not really real. The French arrived on Twelfth Night. We were quite Christian in that we would celebrate Christmas very seriously, but when it came to Twelfth Night, everybody would get drunk. So the French were clever. They knew to arrive on the right day. They arrived on the east coast. They came over to town, to the town area, St Helier, and they convinced Moise Corbett to surrender. He was our lieutenant governor at that time. He gave in quite quickly, which was a bit surprising. Anyway, when the tide went out, he brought French troops out here, along with a letter saying we've actually capitulated, we've surrendered. He came out, he talked to Mr. Mulcaster, who was out here. He was the senior officer out here, who's an engineer. And they came out here. They offered him the surrender letter, and he said, well, he didn't say anything much. He looked at the letter and basically ripped it up and said, I don't speak French. Shut the door, slammed the door. There was a bit of firing going on, and that allowed time for Major Pearson, the British commander, along with our garrisons. We had guns in every church, at least 2 guns. They brought the guns down, and the whole thing ended up in the Royal Square. Major battle. That was won by the British. Baron de Rulcourt dies the next day of his wounds, but unfortunately Major Pearson is mortally wounded. He was only in his early 20s, so it was quite sad.
Yeah.
But they won. That's the good part.
That's the Battle of Jersey.
That's the Battle of Jersey for you. It didn't take very many minutes. I think less than half an hour. Our cannon, unfortunately, are not the real thing. Well, they are the real thing, but they're not contemporary with the castle, because the Germans actually took all our guns away and melted them down. But there is one gun left, and it's in our museum, so I'll let you have a look at that separately. But again, you've got gun holes everywhere. Everywhere you see, you might have a gun, a cannon, or a musket. Very well prepared. And this is where Gunner Gilly comes, so if you want to get some film of Gunner Gilly, he'll fire his gun at you.
Oh, right, okay, sure. Okay, we are going to go at the top of that,
Do you mind heights?
No, yeah.
I don't like heights, but that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Except from the very last bit there. If you go into an area like down there is a gunpowder magazine. If you go there, you turn the go to red, and then you can go and have a look. And then when you come back, turn it back to green.
Oh, right, okay.
One family. Join us if you want to. And here you have it. Beautiful Georgian barrack. So this would have been for the lower ratings. These are the officers on this side. But it's beautiful Georgian architecture. You get 2 windows and a door. 2 windows. 2 windows and a door. 2 windows, and so on. All the way around.
Yeah.
Very beautiful until you get to the kitchen area. 2 windows, door, and the Germans punch through, take that end piece off, and they put a bunker.
Yeah.
This bunker, if you like bunkers, this is the most spectacular bunker. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, when you go in, again, you can see it says stop, so somebody's in there.
Okay.
But when you're ready to go in, wait till it goes green, you go in and turn it to stop.
Okay.
And then you can go in, and in there you'll see that it's connected to the watchtower up there by radio. There's bunks in there because they used to sleep in there. There is a full-size gun, and on top of the gun they have a big extractor hood for all the smoke.
Oh.
Above the gun you see, handwritten by German soldiers in German, a description of the range of different items out in the sea.
Oh, right,
So
okay.
we have a rock that we call Dog's Nest. They put Hund's Nest, as in German, and 500 metres, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
We didn't use metres in those days, we used feet. So it's all very interesting. But they could lock themselves in there for Up to 3 months.
Oh, right,
In fact,
okay.
when they liberated a lot of these bunkers, they found whole stores of Vichy water in bottles, all stuck there.
Okay.
They're quite efficient. They're anti-gas, and obviously they can take a huge they a huge ballistic sort of hit.
Okay.
We've used these, and if you really want to get into German history, German occupation, we've used these in the past for things like nuclear warning
Yes.
shelter because we used to keep monitor for London of any activity happening on the coast in France,
Okay.
and send messages back to London. So at Springfield there is one of these that has been converted into a nuclear advice centre,
Oh, right. Okay.
which has a contemporary little radio station in there where we used to play things to the local population just before they died of radiation poisoning.
Yes.
It's really nice. Here you've got the officers' quarter, and attached to the back of the officers' quarters is a fives court. A fives court is like squash, but you play it with your hands.
Okay. Yeah.
This one is rugby style, apparently, rugby school, not Eton, I was advised. The water here you could pump up, but it is very brackish. These are better for you. These are water tanks collecting rainwater.
Yes.
They've got B and O on. That's Board of Ordnance, as in military equipment. So you've got storerooms here and sort of gym type thing here, but again it's always with the beautiful symmetry of the architecture. Gunpowder and granite, that's all about fighting.
Okay.
And this one is about the occupation of the castle during its history.
Yeah.
Some very scary moments in there. We don't charge people on the pilgrimage.
Yeah, that's.
So that's
I can see that now very well. Yeah.
Yeah, so in there is the cave, and above it is a more recent chapel. That's dedicated to St. Helier. Yeah. So that's the breakwater of what would have been the same as St. Catherine. There's only one arm of it left. The other arm, the Victorian architecture, for some reason it didn't work in our rough seas, and so we never ever had a second arm of the harbour. It's very sad. This is what we call a sally port. So you may hear the old term, sally forth. You sally forth from a sally port. And so Charles II would have been out there in his big boat with 300 people, all needing accommodation very quickly. He would be brought into the sally port. There's an arch there that takes it up into the castle proper.
Yeah.
And in his day, that would have been the main old castle.
Yeah.
This is more recent.